But you're living a pro life, it sounds like, right?
Yeah,
Like this is what you've been waiting for. This is what you dreamed about growing up.
You're the most decorated racquetball player in U.S. history. World's strongest man. From childhood passion to professional athlete. 8-time Ironman champion. So what was it like making your debut in the NHL? What is your biggest piece of advice for the next generation of athletes? From underdogs to national champions. This is the Athletes Podcast, where high-performance individuals share their triumphs, defeats, and life lessons to educate, entertain, and inspire the next generation of athletes. Here we go.
Because I would say Toronto's actual team name, but those haven't been announced yet. So the Professional Women's Hockey League Toronto star, soon-to-be star, Emma Maltais on the Athletes Podcast. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. That had a nice ring to it. There you go. Former captain of Ohio State women's hockey team. Hey, thank you for coming on the show. Excited to chop it up with you, learn a bit more about the Burlington, Ontario. Were you Oakville, Burlington?
Burlington.
It is Burlington.
Yeah,
okay.
I just played for the Hornets, so
it's just like
a little
that
bit of a traitor. But
yeah, that
okay.
bubble. That's that right off the hop. You're gonna get lit up for that.
Yeah, I know.
Why'd you change?
Well, I played for the Burlington Eagles, like the boys program, for a while until I was bantam, and then Warren Edgar, who's like just like the biggest people person ever, came and like recruited me almost. Not recruited, but like came in and watched and was like, oh, like we would love to have you for the Oakville Hornets. And at that time, the Burlington Barracudas program hadn't taken off as like it has now.
Okay.
And Oakville kind of just had a little bit of they weren't like the number one program, but they had some really good people involved. And I get heat with it. I coach with the Barracudas a little bit now, and they're like, traitor. I'm like, yeah. But no, I was surrounded by really good coaches there. Like Brady Cochran was like probably the key to a lot of my growth at that level. So kind of happy with my decision.
So what was that transition like, playing with the boys to women's afterwards?
Yeah. I mean, I played a little bit of girls hockey like in the summers till like my parents wanted me to socialize into like being around girls in like a hockey environment and stuff. And I think like boys definitely got me ready to be physical. I feel like I was one of the bigger ones at that age, so all of a sudden they were just sprouting and I had to get out of the men's game because I was like always really physical, and like I still played the same way as I do now, so it started to slowly not be as effective. So I think like I brought that same speed from the men's game over to the women's game, and then the women's game was like, I feel like there was more plays at that age. Like for boys, I feel like they were just starting to introduce hitting, and everyone was distracted by that. And then I felt like it was a bit, I could use my speed more and also bring like the plays into it. I don't know.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
100%, absolutely. I'm sure you probably credit those years of being able to play with the boys.
Yeah, for sure.
It's unlocking those uncharted territories, but you don't know what you're capable of. Obviously playing in Frozen 4 Olympics, we could probably talk for days about your experiences on the ice, but I wanted to start first off going down as a Canadian playing Div 1 hockey for Ohio State. That's kind of a big deal, kind of a cool experience. Maybe shine light on what that was like, crossing the 49th parallel, being a part of that insane institution.
Yeah, insane. I mean, like, it's just, Ohio State's such a awesome place. Like, even, I know we lost to Michigan. I know. I can't even say Michigan. I shouldn't be saying that. But just, like, going and, like, bringing all of my teammates this past weekend to watch the game, and, like, how, like, into it, like, people who went to Ohio State are. It's just, like, such a cool alumni, like, the people, the tradition, the excellence is what they say. And it's, like, so true at Ohio State. It's, like, it's such a different level of pride to wear the logo and to be a part of something like that. So I think as a Canadian, I was just, like, shocked by how big everything was and how, like, the resources that were available. I committed at such a young age. I remember, like, I was the summer between grade 8 and 9. I went on a visit there, and I was visiting, like, for, like, the first ever football game of the year, like the homecoming.
Oh, okay.
And LeBron James was speaking at, like, the opening event, and
No
I just
big
was
deal.
like, I just was, like, standing there, like, And then I went on the field, like on the football field, and I was just like, where are we right now? It was another world. So I just committed at a young age, and I just loved the school, and it lucked out for me. So I think I'm nothing but grateful for like how it ended up turning out. But they weren't a great hockey program back then, and everything kind of just fell into place.
The recruiting system worked well on you there.
Oh, yeah.
Getting you out on the field, 80,000 people probably screaming on their feet.
Yeah.
Was any tailgating involved?
Not at that age. No, that wasn't a part of my recruit. Obviously, I was so young, but no, it was. It didn't need to be, I guess.
Yeah. Clearly, they had you sold beforehand. Yeah. I'm sure that came afterwards.
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
A little bit of that. But I remember asking the coach I committed to, do you let the girls drink after the games? And my mom was like, Emma, like, don't ask that. Because I was like so young. And they were like, and he was like, yeah, like we do. And then I went there and we ended up having like a dry season for 5 years.
Whoa.
So it's kind of, I know, but.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like? Were the girls thrilled about that?
No, we like originally, like when we got there, like we definitely needed a culture change. And Coach Meseral took over, and she was from Minnesota, like had a lot of success in her playing career and then coaching career. And she just like was a very tough person, and she knew what needed to be done kind of, and instill that culture. And I think we kind of bonded over it, like how much we didn't like it. And we also found ways to connect that weren't drinking, which is like difficult in college, I think.
Very.
Like obviously we had our fun in the off season, no doubt about it. But I think it's kind of cool that like you think at Ohio State that's like a major part of your experience, and it was, but not in season.
Yeah, no, and it's probably your performance obviously showed, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's a testament for most athletes. You should reconsider how much you consume alcohol because it'll probably impact your performance. I can testify and say as a fact that my performance goes down when I'm drinking. No doubt about it. But I imagine some of the faces you guys made were similar to a Mitchell Pelkey frog.
Yeah.
When you heard about that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you give me your best frog?
I don't know if I can do it. I love Mitchell Pelkey.
There we go. She was looking at me. You were doing the frog. That was amazing. Mitchell Pelkey's going to appreciate that one. I had to do it, throw that in there. Yeah. He's creating some cool content. Hey, I know you guys are interacting online.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. I like him. He's always been around our team, and yeah, we got pretty close in our last spring, and he was just like running around doing the frog, so it was great.
I couldn't believe how many Ohio State alumni were drafted in the PWHL draft this year.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, and we're all on different teams. We're literally like 6 for 6. I think there's one of us like for the recent are on each team.
I feel like there was like 8 or 9.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there's more that like Mintu didn't end up playing.
Okay.
There's some that are trying out still, I think, but for like the ones that are recent grads, we're all on different teams, and we all have like a group chat and like text like, what are you guys doing? Checking it.
What are the differences? Like, what's going on team to team? Do you guys know it?
I don't know. Like, it's fun to learn about it, but I also like don't want to know. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to focus on Toronto, but I'm curious. But we're gonna be competing here soon, so I almost don't want to know.
Yeah, no. And with the season a couple months away, actually less than like a month and a bit away, I guess. Right? You guys are a couple weeks into camp. Maybe give the listeners some insight as to what life is like right now for you with the new PWHL inaugural season coming up. Any insights? What's camp like? What's practice like? How are they feeding you? When are they feeding you? Apparently you said that's different. Yeah. You're liking that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I get to just like get up in the morning and go to the rink and have breakfast, and there's coffee, and I could just like hang out with the girls, and then we like slowly get ready for we usually have like a lift or speed workout, and then a practice, and then we get to eat after practice and go home. Like it's similar to college, but it's like the main part of your day, right? Like you're not like rushing to the rink, like sweating from class or like stressing out about like a school assignment. Like you can actually like be in the moment, and like if you want to do things away from the rink, like it's kind of your choice, and it's more like fills you up rather than drains you. So I think that's kind of a cool way to put it. I'm definitely still getting used to it. I think like the biggest adjustment is I don't know everyone. So I think like, you know how exhausting it is to like get to know people like for real. So that's for sure the biggest adjustment right now.
Yeah, not just surface level relationships,
Exactly.
right? And but you're living a pro life, it sounds like, right?
Yeah,
Like this is what you've been waiting for. This is what you dreamed about growing up.
I never thought it would be like possible. I like all through my college career, I was like trying to further my education so I could do school with playing hockey or like, you know, so I'd be like set up for after, but now it just like feels like this is possible.
What was that feeling like getting drafted, going through that process, having CBC there, filming you, getting all dolled up? Like, what was that whole experience like?
It's so like, it's just like out of body. Like I just like, I can't even explain that day. Like it was so overwhelming, so amazing. Like it was all of the above. So I think just to like feel like that was our day and everyone was watching and like actually tapped in was so cool.
It was really cool. Phoenix and I were in attendance representing Cook Stark Management, LDC Talent. I got to ask, how many compliments did you get on your pink power suit and pink shoes?
Yeah, I definitely went for it with the pink. I was like,
you were out there. Yeah.
But I was like, I have to. I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna show my personality here. Let's do it. And a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a massive success. I think
Thanks.
everyone was in awe, you know, and you strutted your stuff up there. You're like, hey, I'm owning this. Yeah. I think everyone was pretty reserved, actually, for the most part, the outfits.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit more pizzazz.
Like some clean, like a lot of girls went for like the clean, like chic look, I feel like.
And some good sneakers. There was some fire kicks out there too.
I'm not the biggest sneaker head. Like I am. Like, but I find it tough to dress up sneakers like maybe it's because I'm so short. But some of the girls really killed it with their sneakers, but not for me.
You're not the tallest. That is, we have confirmed
Needed the
that.
heels. Needed the heels.
Yeah, you got a couple extra inches on those Uggs. Those work.
Platform Uggs too. Yeah.
How do you transfer maybe not being the most vertically gifted to on the ice and being able to compete against women who maybe are larger size? Like, do you bring that knowledge from playing as a female with boys growing up, or?
Yeah, like I don't know if it was like, I like vertically gifted. I like that. I'm gonna use that. But no, I take pride in a lot of my off ice work is majorly to keep me in the game in terms of strength and power. And my speed. I have a very low center of gravity, so like in a way it's helpful against bigger girls. Like it's harder to knock me off the puck just like because I'm closer to the ground. It's just what it is. And definitely when I first came to senior camp, like, and I went up against like Spooner and like Renata, I was like, oh my goodness. Like they're not like, they don't look massive like when you watch them on TV, but they're just like, they're not massive, I should say, but like strong and just like powerful to the max. Like Spooner coming at you at full speed is just like terrifying. So it was a big adjustment to like have the confidence to go into the corner. But yeah, I definitely work a lot on that in the gym.
Yeah, I can tell you do have some sizable quads too. It looks like you can leg press.
I've heard that before.
And I feel like there was a couple people at the draft that were like, yo, do not challenge her in a leg press contest because I feel like you would win. What does your training look like? Did you absorb a lot of that at school? Have you always been gifted in the quad department, or what's? Definitely
always been gifted in the quad department. I like almost did gymnastics growing up. I always had like a little bit of power. And like my mom was super powerful. I don't know. My training looks like I love to train. So like when you love to do it, it's easier. Ohio State was a big training like environment in the summer. I was there every day at 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. like long days, but it gave me that foundation to continue. And now I'm working out. I was working out this summer at Shield in Burlington, which was great for me and like trying new things with it. I think now I'm past that strength foundation phase, but adding different parts to it too.
Yeah.
That mobility that I needed that this summer.
I need to get on that train too. It's tough. Mobility's hard, you know?
Oh, It's horrible.
It's something that you got to do while you're watching like TV or watching a movie, and it's just never end. You can always get better. It's just that constant. It's always hovering over you.
Yeah, it was so humbling this summer. Like I went in, he's like, "We need you to be more foundational, like functional movements," and I was just like struggling with like the proper way to do a squat, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is so hard. But
what was he making you do? Like dead bugs, like anything in particular?
Like a lot of core, which I feel like I've never really focused on that much before, and also just like the alignment of every movement. Like I don't know, like sometimes when you want to do a chin up, you like kip or like a little bit, just like removing all those tendencies, which was built up, I guess. That's
what happens when you're an athlete. You just get the job done. Yeah. You're not trying to be a bodybuilder and focus on squeezing your lats so that you get the best.
Literally.
Yeah. Hypertrophic, you know. I don't know, whatever word I was going to use there.
You know what we'd also love to hear from you guys, specifically the males watching this Athletes Podcast episode. What are you guys doing for your face? You guys are probably brushing your teeth every day, but are you washing your face? Are you applying the good every night to make sure that you're hydrated, moisturized, making sure that your skin looks young, youthful, glowing? I personally use Caldera Lab. I start off my day by washing my face with the clean slate. You can tell it's still wet. That's because I used it this morning. Then I follow it up. I throw on the nice little icon here in the middle underneath the eyes, keeps those black dark spots away. And then to finish it off, we use the beard product to make sure that the beard's looking nice and full. Check out calderalab.com. Use the code AP20 for 20% off yours. It's the best deal that they offer anywhere out there, and I can't recommend the products enough. I use Caldera Lab every single day. As you can tell, my skin's looking all right, and I'm very happy with it, to say the least. I want to know, though, if you're using it, let us know down below. Guys, promise you're going to love it.
Tell me about your time with Voice in Sport, because you were an intern there, and I noticed that on your LinkedIn profile. I was curious.
Yeah, I'm a very I love to do things away from hockey. It like I said, it fills me up, and that's one thing. I did that internship before after the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after the Olympics. Yeah. And I just did it I wanted to get more exposure in the marketing side, and all my education has been in health sciences area, so I wanted that, but I also thought the advocacy part was so cool. And I got a lot of really good experience, just how to ask for things that are meaningful, and then how to portray yourself in that environment and message properly to get people on board, and you know what I mean?
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, having to I'd sent a lot of emails, a lot that weren't replied to, but that's okay.
The sales life, you know?
Yeah, which I never experienced before, which was really cool. And then just also on calls, actually speaking from your heart on past experiences and the authenticity of advocacy, and being okay to talk about inequities in certain ways, but in the right way. So I think that's been a big thing with my Voice in Sport chapter at Ohio State, which was kind of a challenge through the internship that I kept on going. I'm still heavily involved in it. It's just building that confidence amongst women athletes to talk about that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I think Wasserman posted, was it 2018, 4% of media was headed towards women's sport, and now it's up to 15%? Yeah. Is that right? Is that accurate? Okay, so that's got to be a little exciting for you to see at least progress. It's not quite 50-50 where it should be.
Yeah, I think the growth's there, and I think the thing is though, we can't be satisfied with growth, and I think that's something I've really learned is as women, a lot of times we're very grateful for opportunities, but it's just not satisfying with always being grateful, understanding that there's opportunities to grow even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's still 35% at least to get to even.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And that doesn't even include all of the brand deals, sponsorship dollars that should be equitably distributed. Curious from your perspective, have you been given those opportunities from brands, marketing, representation, agents? Are you getting the same exposure as your guy friends on the Ohio State hockey team, for instance?
I was very fortunate with after the Olympic year, the NIL stuff happened. So that got me kind of out and thinking about it a lot. Individually, I did that, and then I work with Envision now, and they've been helping me a lot with just how to, like, again, advocate for yourself and like what's worth it and what's not, and how to pick and choose. And I think I work with CCM, so that's like my first kind of like big staple brand that's like for longevity purposes. So I think that's really cool, and that's really started to help me gain momentum.
They've been instrumental in their support for women's hockey.
Yes, and I think that's super important, is aligning yourself with brands that are like aligning with what you think.
Yeah, and there's been some chatter around some new gear that would be there to back up their support. I don't know if there's anything we can release right now currently, but I've heard some through the grapevine, put it that way. So it's exciting times to be in professional women's sports, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that was probably pretty cool on its own, having like Billie Jean King there in attendance, some other legends in the space. Was there a highlight from that draft for you?
I think just like being like watching it, like after I got drafted. I think before I got drafted, I was just like freaking out, kind of like, where am I gonna go, like what's gonna happen. But I think after just like taking a step back and like seeing everyone standing there watching and getting texts from home being like, congratulations, like we're watching, and you know, I think that part of it was really special.
I think it was something that probably you guys have dreamed up for your whole lives, right? And to have it actually come to fruition is crazy. I also heard you've skated on Lake Louise.
Yeah.
In Alberta.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Really cool. I went there in centralization and skated on that beautiful outdoor rink. It was so cool.
Top ODR you've ever set foot on?
For sure. I mean, there's nothing that compares to it with the mountains in the background.
Right?
So cool.
It's funny. It was a roundabout story, because the reason I met Mitchell is because of Bobby Ryan, who we had on the podcast previously. He was a skier at Colorado University, and he screwed up. He mentioned about the Rockies, whether they were in BC or Alberta. He wasn't quite sure. Canadian geography is tough for Americans. I get it. But that's how last month we went to Cape Cod, met Mitchell down in wherever, Cape Cod, and we were training. Mitchell's like, man, you've got to know some of these people. And then Emily Duke, who I don't know if you're familiar with, obviously, yeah, you would be. You're on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? I mean, that's the other cool part, is NCAA athletes have a good community. Like, and you're able to basically go up to anyone, say hi, say what up.
Yeah.
Trade skills. Were there schools that you loved traveling to, best places to maybe consume sports or participate in sports?
Oh, I think that I liked playing, I'm going to get heat for this, but like in Ritter, like in the Gophers facility, I thought that was cool. And I liked playing in LeBon. Like LeBon was in Wisconsin. It was like terrible at some times just because the fans are like insane. But it was also like cool. It's like a nice rink, and like it's the own only for the women's team. And I think like that atmosphere behind it's really cool, and how people came and watched, and it's like sold out. I did get to play in the men's rink at Wisconsin too for Fill the Bowl. That was cool too.
Yeah, that would have been.
I liked that too. Yeah.
How can you tell me how much swagger your fourth line had at the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, we all have a matching tattoo of the number 4.
Yeah.
So like, if that's tells
dedication.
you anything about it, we loved it.
I feel like I remember hearing a story of Spooner and your warm-up group yelling animal names. And is that accurate? That checks out?
So before the game, there's like a group of us that like try and get fired up. We like will push each other around, and then one person has an animal. They think about it during warm-ups, and we like make the sound. I don't know how this started, but it's supposed to get us fired up, and it does.
Yeah, a little. I think there was the whale was the example. I was like, imagine Natalie Spooner just making whale noises before a game. It's got to intimidate the opposing team. For sure.
Exactly.
Any highlights from the Olympics that you wanted to highlight? I know you've talked about podcasts on previously, but like, got to be some highlight moments in there.
Yeah, I think like the Olympics is just like, it's so crazy some of the things that I didn't realize about it. Like, I know I went to one that was like pretty unorthodox with like COVID and everything, but just like how we're all on different villages and like watching each other compete was like such a big monumental thing. I think that was just so cool. I loved that. Like we would just go home after practice every night and watch like everyone else compete and then like talk about it the next day. It was just like we're also tapped into our country and how we're doing and like talking to people you've just never talked to before about their event. And I think that's just like there's something so beautiful in that.
The Canadian camaraderie is second to none.
Yeah.
And I imagine like there's a clip of, I think he's a skier or something, but he's like double fisting at 9 a.m. supporting his wife who's competing in the Olympics. I'm like, that's goals right there. Like if that isn't the relationship that you're striving for, you need to find someone that allows you to double fist at 9 a.m. I just imagine that, like, because I think there was also stories you had to wait like 5 hours on the tarmac when you guys landed. And
oh my God. Yeah. That was the flight back was pretty brutal, but like, I think also for our Olympics I went to, like coming home was so cool. Cause I think like when you go to the Olympics, it's all happening at once. Like your support, like your family is usually there, or like your friends, some of your friends come maybe. And like, you know what I mean? It's much more accessible. And I think for me, I almost got like 2 experiences where we won and I got it like over social media-ish. And then I came home and it was like, I got to share it all over again with like friends, family, you know, like I think that part of it, I don't know. Yeah. And all my friends and family went to like one bar in Burlington and watched it, which was just
the Coop?
QBs.
QBs.
Which was just like so cool. Like seeing videos of that and like, I don't know. I just love that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be cool to be able to have both.
Yeah.
And to be able to have it with your home. Yeah. That's something that's, and I feel like even when you're away from home, you don't get that at school, right? Like something about coming back to your hometown, enjoying that with your country, right?
Yeah. Like it's like your whole country. Like, I don't know. And Burlington's a great community that like follows their athletes, and I've really felt the support just like walking around Burlington, and you know, like people recognize me in a rink, and it's like that's just not everyone can say that. Like in Canada, it's different than any other place in the world when it comes to hockey, in my opinion. And then Burlington especially has been incredible. Like me and Renata got like the key to the city. Like it's crazy.
I was gonna ask you guys a little CBC interview there. I was like, who's holding that key?
We each got one.
Nice, no big deal. Where's the key and the gold medal? Are they sitting in like a safe or something?
So they're like they're in my closet at home, and like my Burlington home, like at my family home.
Just chilling.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of like trophies or that is kind of in there, and it's kind of just like, I don't know. You can take them out and look at it, but I don't know. I don't need them on display or anything.
On to the next.
Yeah, but they're also like you can like look back at it and show people that care about, but it's also like, yeah, it happened and it's amazing, but it happened.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
But how's the team looking like this year? Like I know we were talking previously. You were really impressed about how professional the actual organization has been from start to finish so far. Anything in particular that's really stood out?
Yeah, like we're getting fed just like super healthy meals, and I think that's just like so important because it's like we're athletes. We need to fuel our bodies properly. And like the fact that like you come in every day to the rink and there's options and they're all healthy options, and everyone's happy. No one's like going to buy food after the rink because they're not, because I think that's that part of it that's really standing out to me. Yeah, and just like obviously I've had experience with Troy and Gina before, but working with Mike Ellis too and Rachel has been like really cool just to get to know the different tendencies of coaches and really learning from them and taking a lot in. I think it's cool.
What would you, now having pro experience, what would you give that 12, 15, 16-year-old kid who's going through school? He's like, I want to play hockey at the next level, whether it's NCAA or pro. Are there things that you've learned that you would maybe provide as insights to them?
I think for me, if I didn't like commit to training like super hard at a young age, and like not young age, but like dedicating a lot of time into, like, I tried to act like a professional before it was possible. Does that make like
100%.
sense to be a professional? And I think the more you can mimic that lifestyle, the more that you will be successful at the level once you reach that. So I think at this point in my kind of career, I hope that on my daily basis, I'm almost in like autopilot mode where I don't need to think about it. And it just comes naturally. So I think just those habits.
It's the old adage of, dress for the job that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What other habits or routines do you have? Because I know every hockey players, athletes typically have some superstitions or some habits they follow. You have anything in particular?
Like before a game, you mean, or like a game?
I heard Soupy listens to like the same playlist,
on a different level,
right?
Soupy, goalie, like.
I'm a goalie too. That's why I asked. Same with Phoenix. So
yeah, Soupy's different level, but for me, I mean, I guess you saw it at the draft, but I love to dress up. I love to get like spunky, have fun. I'm very like light and fun. I don't like, the more I think about it, because I want it so bad, and like it exhausts me and is tiring. So I think I try and just like go for it and having fun. And I obviously do like my nighttime like sage rubs and like, like those things, but that's just like, I want my legs to feel good. If my legs feel good, I'm tapped in.
Nice. Okay. That's the key. That's the foundation.
Yeah.
Master's, is it bioethics for your fifth year? Okay. Damn.
Yeah, bioethics. Don't ask me what we did.
Okay, I won't. Roger that. Can you tell me how the Frozen 4 experience was?
Yeah, Frozen 4. So it's actually crazy. I never thought I would go to a Frozen 4 ever. When I committed to Ohio State, I would have told you we wouldn't beat Wisconsin one time or go to a Frozen 4. And when we went my freshman year, like, it was just so cool to be there. Like, I remember being like, this is so cool. Like, we went back to the same rink. We went back to Ritter. But just, like, the posters and, like it's a different vibe with NCAA. Like, they really, like, go for it and make it feel, Like, I made it to the national championship once, and obviously we lost last year. But just that environment and being around it, and, it changes year to year, because we went and we lost, but I was still like so pumped about the year. And then it's like, okay, we won our conference championship, and then we lost in the final. It's like, I just want to make it to the final. And then, So I think like your expectations grow every year, but the first time was incredible. Yeah,
it would have been. And you know what? You get to bring that adversity, that little chip on your shoulder to the professional level, to Toronto. I got to ask you, what do you think of the sweaters? I know they're only inaugural first year, but I feel like, I could have made those ones.
People were saying that, but like I think that for us, we're not thinking about that stuff. Like, it's just like, you look on social media, you're like, okay, if people really are wasting their times like roasting our jerseys that are like not even, like, those weren't even the legit ones, they're not ready yet. Like, like, I think like for us, like, I mean, I think it's cool. Like, they want to invest the time into like making logos and names that like the fans will like. So I think like, rather than chirping like the jerseys now, like, think about it from that point. At least they're not just like rushing and naming it something random that's everyone's gonna hate. Yeah, exactly. That was there was a good little asterisk up there when they mentioned the fact that, hey, we're gonna take into consideration fans' opinions now, because the initial drop wasn't well received, put it that way. No. But that's good to know that you said they weren't the final, like you said. Like the ones that we're actually wearing, they're gonna be in, like, take more time making them. This was just, It's hey, like you said, the professionalism's there, the league's good. Is there a place you're most excited to travel to, or a team you're most excited to kick it off against? I don't know. That's a good question. I think like, I'm just excited to like see how everything plays out, because I think like the rivalries, they're gonna be like pretty authentic, and like this year is like really big on like that kind of sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited like to play our first game. Like, who's it against? And like, is that going to be the rivalry? Is that meant to be the rivalry? Like, yeah. So I don't really know the answer to that. I think it's going to depend on the first few games.
That Ohio State group chat's going to be buzzing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can guarantee
buzzing.
for sure. Frogs flying everywhere. Emma Maltais, I can't thank you enough for coming on the Athletes Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Is there anything that you haven't shared on a podcast, or if I was to give you space right now, anything that you want to share with the audience that they don't know about you? Because the way we wrap up, we ask our guests their biggest piece of advice for the next gen. But if there's anything you want to drop before that, maybe tips, tricks, pieces of advice.
I don't know if I have anything else. I think just like be yourself. That was one thing that like, I don't know. Like, I think like that's my biggest thing with like women hockey players, especially. It's like there's no pressure to be like super feminine, super masculine. I think like now that you have the floor to like be your authentic self on like your brand, like if you don't want to have a brand, like don't have a brand. There's just no pressure. And I think now growing up with social media, a lot of young girls are having that pressure to like do things they don't want to do, or like, you know, see things they don't want to see. And it's just like, just do what you want with it, and like showcase your authentic self. Don't try and be someone you're not.
So true. Was there someone you were trying to be growing up before you became so wise?
So wise. I don't know. I think just like meeting your heroes help. Like I played with Pooh, and like I love Pooh. Like we're really, really close, but we're nothing alike. Like we're really good friends, but we're nothing alike. And I think like she likes me for me, and I like her for her. And I think like when you try and model yourself after someone so much, like you can like follow their tendencies and their habits and their work ethic. And I still do that with Pooh every day. But I think like you're like at the end of the day, no one's really going to be like you.
Any one particular thing that Marie-Philippe Poulin does?
Yeah, she, I mean, I don't know. I think just like someone who's like super genuine and like willing to go the extra mile and like everything she does. And I'm not just saying that, like she's just like will always do the extra rep, like always. So I think like she's the best player in the world, but it's backed up. So I think that's super cool. Like there's a reason why she is. It's not just like skill. It's just like she worked for everything that she's gotten.
That checks out, because she spent time with Phoenix and I at the draft chatting, and she puts effort into everything she does. So
yeah.
I feel like you do the same though. So Emma, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom, insights, knowledge with the show. I'm sure we'll have you on again at some point after you crush this first season with the PWHL. And where can people find you on socials?
My Instagram is Emma Maltais 17.
Is that going to be your number this year?
No, it's
not.
No. I just like, I don't know.
You're going to change
my
the
college
handle?
number.
You're going to have to change the handle?
I don't know. I just like haven't. I don't know if I will, but I think my TikTok's just Emma Maltais.
Is that where you want to drive people? TikTok?
Those two.
Those two
are my big ones.
Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, folks.